can't get a clear shot.
What now?
We have to go up.
Right.
Okay, so what's next on the plate for our redux of Resident Evil 0 in the on-rail shooter world is the Infected Bat boss fight, I believe? Yeah, the Infected Bat. I'm surprised that Capcom and apparently Nintendo really didn't have any influence with this game at all, so apparently Capcom themselves thought this was a good idea. Yeah, so-so idea there, Capcom. The Infected Bat boss fight, I'm kind of surprised you went with this one rather than the prototype Tyrant that we saw earlier, or the Centurion. Because the Infected Bat boss fight was the absolute worst. It was after your training facility level in the original game. We didn't have a lot of health to go on. We really lacked the resources to destroy the Infected Bat, and the incredible design problems that went into that set piece really just spoke for themselves. So I'm kind of surprised you went with this one, especially since the problems that plagued that point in Resident Evil 0 didn't really seem to change in Umbrella Chronicles. Because, again, it's an aerial boss fight that you really haven't given us a good targeting system, good perspectives, and really a good shot at defeating, which is kind of odd considering this is an on-rail shooter that has way more control over everything that the camera does, along with the shooting, than your survival horror original game. So again, it's a weird time to see you completely failing at something. What makes it worse, again, is that the Infected Bat can summon its minion bats, and they do not give you much time to actually deal with them. Most enemies in this boss fight, the boss and the minions alike, will just fly at you in one direction for about 3 or so seconds as a window to have you destroy them, which would be fine, but these bats are coming at you one after the other with very little time in between, so that quote-unquote generous window of time that you have to actually destroy the bat really ends up not existing, and it just starts chipping away at your health exactly like it did in the Infected Bat boss fight, except this time you don't have that way to cheese it because you probably haven't unlocked the grenade launcher at this point, and if you have, you haven't leveled it up or put ammo into it. So, you know, it's just one of those things that really shows that Capcom really didn't think their progression through a whole lot in both the original game and Umbrella Chronicles. It is a long, drawn-out boss fight, and it is going to take some luck to get through. A lot of skill, but the problem with that is that the on-rail shooting thing takes away the camera control from you, so you don't have the organic amount of chances that you would attacking the Infected Bat, like at the points where it's just flying across the sky. You only have enough chances to hit it as Capcom gives you, rather than the Infected Bat choosing itself with its flight pattern. If you had camera control on this, you could track the bat and when it started coming towards you, like incredibly fast, then you could lose it. But here, you have no idea what the camera is going to do next, where it's going to turn, so you really have no idea of where you're going to be shooting the infected bat, where it's going to be coming next, and the whole thing kind of just turns into a big mess, mostly because the infected bat has an oddly big health bar for what it is. This boss fight actually ended up being longer than the Stinger boss fight, and that was the opposite way around in the original run of the series of Resident Evil 0, because I was cheesing the infected bat boss fight because I had no resources to fight it with. And it just turns what used to be an annoying and cheap boss fight and just makes it longer without affecting any of the things that made it cheap in the first place. I really had to scrape my way through here with the skin on my teeth, literally, because at the point where you get into phase 2 and you climb up the ladder to the roof of the church, I was basically dead standing. Like, I didn't have a lot to bank on when that was happening, and the boss probably had around half of its health bar left. Thankfully, when you do eventually defeat the infected bat, the level just ends, so you do get your resources back immediately and don't have to deal with the bullshit aftermath of the original infected bat boss fight, but that's only a slight justification, a slight mercy on the game's part for what was a horribly done and designed boss fight. Like, the infected bat should have been completely forgotten in any sort of remake of Resident Evil 0 besides remaking the original game literally. Any sort of greatest hits revisitation really should have forgotten the infected bat and put the focus on the Centurion, because this game has like 5 bosses in it, but you can pick and choose there. And the thing that you shouldn't have chose was the aerial bat that has minions coming out of its ass and can hit you very harshly if you don't end up shooting it 4 times in the face, one after the other, and it's just a giant slog and a waste of our resources. It's just a big annoyance to end the revisit of the training facility that just shows us the worst points of Resident Evil 0 rather than celebrating what was ultimately a solid game with its better moments. It's like what happens when Sonic Team decides to revisit Sonic the Hedgehog 2006. You pick and choose what you revisit with a remake or a greatest hits album game. Don't pick the shit moments.